Okay. Okay, I think we are currently live. And boom. Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Hope you're doing well. I am hanging out with Steve. Steve, how you doing? Oh, I got audio. What's going on here? Bear with me for a second. Bear with me. Unmute.
Oh, was that a mistake?
No, my bad. I had muted Discord for a beat, but I got you now. How you doing?
I'm doing well, you know. I got to vent really a long time on Monday about kind of being upset that once again they couldn't get land out, and it just was like it was fun just to have that chat. And Virus joined us, and you know, Baby Omega is so nice to them, and pretty much is like the always,
Yeah.
hey, it's gonna be fine, everything is fine, guy.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the meme of the guy sitting there going, everything's fine, with the fire all around him. Not that things are quite that bad, and there's still some good things going on, but you know, it's just they shake my confidence every time they can't release it properly.
Yeah.
And so I tried to get that through to him. It's like, it's not that they're delaying. They could have came in yesterday. They could have lied to me and said, you know what, guys, Thanksgiving's coming up. We have some vacations planned. We're just going to wait 2 weeks and do land in 2 weeks. I'd be like, all right, fine. But instead it was, a critical vulnerability was found on top of the other bugs that were found. So we can't release it. And even when the guys, you know, Farperchard fixed it, and he said, you know, it should be good to go. Matt decided not to do it, and as I've thought about that for a day longer, that also shows that maybe Matt isn't fully comfortable with, you know, their ability to get this out, get it working, and not have problems. So he needs that extra time now to have them, you know, vet everything out. And I just want everyone to, you know, I don't want to be misleading to people and act like I'm not a little bit worried.
Yeah. What do you think? What's more concerning? Is it you touched it, but you provided more focus on the fact that there was a delay. Is that the bigger concern, or are you saying that the bigger concern is truly that it seems to have been ready according to other people, but then Matt says no? Is that the bigger issue?
Well, the bigger issue is that so like, you know, I don't want to throw anyone super under the bus. I'm not inside there. I can't do this coding. But if I'm looking at this objectively, a dev finished work, said it was ready to go. He gave it to the community. The community still found minor bugs that we maybe could have went forward with. And then somebody found an exploit that hasn't been like fully explained to us, but could have possibly allowed them to steal our assets in some way.
Yeah.
And so after like, and the thing is, like, have you played much with land?
I've only seen videos of people touching it. No, I haven't touched it at all.
Okay, so like you go and touch it. It's every time I've touched it, it's super broken. Like the first time I'm doing it, you could like stake monsters into a land that was making SPS, pull them off and put them on, and like your SPS jumped up thousands. You could just do it over and over again and be like, "Ooh, look at, I'm going to get 1 million SPS." Just because I'm moving monsters on and off this land. Because like somehow there was some kind of like crazy mistakes, and then the math wasn't right, and like really and really basic functionality of like how much DEC you had to stake and how much monsters you had to put on there, and you know, even how long things took to clear if you put monsters and then used crystals. All this basic functionality was completely broken in the beginning, so that was a bad look. Then they clean that up, they get most of that working, they get close to launch, and then the big shakeup happens. Matt takes the priority off of land because they just can't get it right. He pulls off the extra hands, he gives the one main guy go back to working on it. We get Rebellion, we get the pre-sale, we found out about the one saving grace of this whole thing right now, that we might get our first taste of spells and abilities, but in the form of summoner abilities instead of actual spells and equipment cards and stuff. So that excites people. Also, there's a little bit of excitement in the community that we get our release date for Rebellion, because there is at least a partial part of the community that wants Jotun gone, wants Kitty gone, wants, those untamed cards that have been keeping them from being able to really compete in their minds out of the game, and or at least out of Modern. And so the community gave them, go ahead and here's a couple $1 million. We're going to support you. We're going to give you guys this ability to get some extra runway, but you're going to deliver land. And then the thing was that to me, then they don't learn their lesson. And Matt comes out and does the thing you shouldn't do and gives a date, even though he says that date could change. And then we get to that date and it does change. And maybe I shouldn't be so mad, but the reason I get mad is because, once again, it's because the product didn't work. It's not because of a need to delay or customer service or anything like that. It's that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it has extreme problems. And I work in IT. I know I do development. It's different kind of development. It's not straight coding. It's phone system programming. But I couldn't keep taking something to my boss and having it not work without them basically taking me off of it, and then and making other people work on it or make me get help or do something. And I just am of the opinion to this point, like, you've messed up so many times and released a product that didn't work so many times that you're going to have to release it working before I'm going to get my confidence back. And it's only because land is so critical to this whole ecosystem. The game can't go forward without land.
Yeah.
If we don't have land to soak up the cards and the DEC in the ecosystem, then there's too much cards and too much DEC, and nothing will have any value anymore or go up in value. We could still play the game. The game might still be fun, but like the idea that this ecosystem is going to work and grow going forward and the flywheel is going to do what it could do without that critical piece that was supposed to drive all the DEC printing, it's going to fall apart. And the scary thing is, from most people's point of view, I think in crypto, we're heading into about a 16-month period of time. During these 16 months, we're going to get a bull run, and it's going to be Splinterland's chance to prove that this flywheel works, that their game can become something really, really special. And if they can't get out land 1.5 in 14 months, then are we going to get 2.0 with our 50 resources and all of that other stuff before the bull run is over? And we don't even need it before the bull run is over. To be completely honest, we want it probably before the halving, so that we can have all of that extra money that people might be making if we do go parabolic, have a chance to come into our game and make our flywheel fly.
Yeah, I hear you. I share some of the concern that you're expressing. I might add some other layers to it, just saying things like, was it a town hall or was it a town square, whatever, the most recent live one, Matt spoke and said, I can't quote it. I don't have the clip ready, but it was something like, can you be more specific about the bug that you're dealing with? And Matt goes, it's not some superficial thing. If it was, we wouldn't hold it. It's a big deal. it's a critical deal. It's a major exploit. I think he either used the word exploit or he implied the word exploit, talking about how like resources, like you said, could be stolen. I didn't get the explicit expression that would be resources from us, the players, but I don't know. I kind of pictured, like you said, with SBS, because I had heard what you said during test phase about how you could like multiply your SPS production in inaccurate and like just exploit ways. It was never intended, but that was happening in the test phase. And I thought, well, that would qualify as like an absolute broken bug, cannot happen, cannot launch. It's not like, hey, the button doesn't work. And then going from on that, just taking him at face value, saying it has to be a major bug. It's not some superficial button. And then he goes, I feel like raises 2 points of concern that grab me. The first is that at the 11th hour, like this thing's ready to, like the date, the time, it's going to go. We hear about, we're just discovering a major bug. Cause I don't think this is like a bug that they've been working on for weeks. I didn't get that vibe. It was like, oh, we found something, I think, which is really discouraging and a little concerning. Cause it's like, that means that there might be major bugs. It makes me begin to wonder if there are other major bugs that they're going to just discover right as we get to the next launch time. And that might be just pessimism that creeps in because this is a setback. But that was one element that I got worried about. Like at the 11th hour, we're discovering this stuff. And then one more point, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of these. The team seems to at least from what I could glean during Matt's communications in that town hall experience or town square, or whatever, the team wanted to go, and Matt was like, it's not even being tested for 24 hours. We imprudent to go, even though you feel like you corrected it. We need to now we need to test the correction in a sense. And then we run into the holiday, and then so I feel like that brings up a second worry, which is like the team wants to go and Matt doesn't want to go, or something like that. It's not exactly that clear. It sounded from Matt like maybe there's a group of people that are weighing in and they vote on it, but indecision on this stuff, I want to hear like, oh, that bothered me. I want to hear we're not going, period, it's not ready, or we are going, period, it is ready. I don't want to hear we're kind of figuring it out and we're not really sure yet, especially from Matt. And that might be unfair. I think, in fact, I'm going to say that's unfair of me to put on him because he's just a human, but still that's where my heart goes as a man who has a significant investment in this game. I want that sort of assurance, even if, being totally honest, I think that sort of assurance is too much to ask. What do you think about that, Steve?
Yeah, so I'll start on the actual problem. So Aftersound, who actually does have a way to talk to some of the team, spoke to this a little bit this morning on his stream, that the problem was a way for them to get our assets. He wasn't able to confirm which assets. I didn't know if it meant like somebody can come to your plot and maybe claim your rewards, or it was something where they could come to your plot and somehow steal your cards that you had staked there and like unstake them and it goes to them. I mean, we don't really know. Maybe they'll come out and clarify it so we don't have to guess how bad it was. But to my mind, with what we've seen happen, it had to have been something so dangerous that Matt just shut it down and said, no, we're not going. We're going to test this for a long time. And honestly, I'm going to probably get some people to kick the wheels a little bit harder because we almost went live with what, I mean, people are going to stake some of the most valuable cards in the game to their lands. And if there was a way for somebody to steal them, that would be insane.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep into this kind of stuff because it's speculation. But it was bad enough that he shut it down. At the same time, though, because, we're in Web3 and these guys are in the Discord and they can chat with us, we find out Farpatron fixed the error. and he felt like they could still go today. And you find out that, there's a little bit of like back and forth there. I'm not that upset with that, because I do understand, like, if you're the guys programming stuff and you think it's ready to go, and the guys above you say no, we're gonna wait. And he's catching some flack from the community, and it's a little unfair, because it's a lot to ask one person to do all of this and to not make mistakes and not catch stuff. But that's where that is. It like becomes just this situation where it's like, the thing I've clearly maybe had just rosy glasses on the last 2 or 3 months, with the idea that Matt could do this and the dev team could do this, and they could be lean and mean and get it done. And what lean and mean is doing is it's causing them to go to market with products that, almost go to market with a product that isn't done, that isn't fully flushed out. I mean, I saw people like arguing in the map chat, like, how could this happen? And I mentioned on my show, you had one of the moderators say, well, why didn't you QA it more? Maybe that would have helped us. And it's like, you can't throw that on your customers. You have to have your own QA team. I mean, yeah, the Mavs are nice, and the community is great, and we want to help, but we're only going to be able to help a tiny bit. Not a lot of us are going to spend a ton of time on a QA server that's kind of buggy and would freeze up, and you'd find 2 or 3 bugs and just be like, oh, this stuff doesn't work, and want to go away. So it's all just a little bit messy. It can all be cleaned up in 2 weeks if it is already fixed and there isn't any more critical bugs, and we do get land coming out literally right before Rebellion. That'll be kind of crazy. The thing is this is a pattern that Splinterlands has had, where they build up a little bit of hype. First, Aggie and Weirdbeard did it to us, and then they fell flat, and we saw SPS almost get to 2 cents and then fall all the way back down to like 1.2, because we thought we were getting it and then we didn't. And then now Matt has let that same thing happen, where we got some hype. We had, tons of SPS burned, tons of DEC now sitting in wallets. You've had, the supply just shoot up, and, the community's taken this pretty well, because we haven't seen it start to dump yet. But if they can't hit the 28th, I'm worried things are going to get messy around here, because then do they push Rebellion, or do they go ahead and drop Rebellion and push Untamed and all that stuff out of Modern without even land there for it to go to? That is just a crazy
land has
thing.
to happen. You're right. Like the 28th has to happen. So like if there's like 20-hour work days, if that is, there's never been a bigger finish line for Splinterlands in their entire history. And you're right, because of if it might feel like I'm like you or me in the language I'm choosing right now are being overly excessive, but I don't think we are. I don't think there's hyperbolic. This is not hyperbolic. It's the most important launch they've ever had, because of where we are at, because of like where we've come from. But the bear market isn't over for Splinterlands, and we aren't guaranteed to like receive the hype that is we're seeing in some coins. But even and this is a very important moment to get right, because you want to be ready when the waters are rising, when all tides are rising. What's that expression? When the rising tide rises all boats. But man, if your boat has holes in it, you don't get to enjoy that benefit. So we got to be ready. And this is so important, because the combination of Rebellion and Land, if they launch well together, there's a real opportunity to exacerbate the flywheel, because of the DEC need DEC to buy Rebellion packs. and that's already been a pretty good success. So let's piggyback on that success with the pre-sale of Rebellion, eating through 400. Is it 400,000 packs? How many have sold? Yeah, 350,000, 55,000 packs sold. That by Matt's expectations, that's a big success. He wanted 250 sold. Many people thought 300, 200, and so this is a success. We need to now string successes together, just like in the ranked battles of Splinterlands. You don't want one win, one loss, one win, one loss, or one win, two losses. You got to get some W's rolling and putting them back to back, because you need DC to buy Rebellion. And I think once the packs are openable, there'll be another surge in buying, I think, because right now people have fought for the leaderboard to some extent, or their titles to some extent, and they want some of the Rebellion packs, true, but really people, the desire for Rebellion packs will grab us when they're actually openable and when you've actually seen the monsters and summoners that are inside. And after that, that's where a new type of buyer will come in, where they actually want the practical utility of the card. And so that's going to be a DEC sink, because you need DEC to buy the packs. And then that is the moment you need to piggyback land with. So the 28th or whatever it was, like it has to happen this month. It's been delayed too many times. And you're right, SPS almost got to 2 cents and then fell way back down, like 1.4 or something. And then we were getting a bit of a pump here. DEC's been at peg. SPS, 10 million SPS got burned recently, I guess. This is it. Like if you were making a fire, like in a metaphor of making a fire, your kindling is good. You're like, you've got some embers. You can't let it go out. It's just like, we've made progress. We gotta lean in now.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that, this, like, what I think this is going to hurt, it's going to hurt the sale for Rift Watchers. Mm-hmm. Because, and this could be completely unfair, and I'm even going to say this might be unfair to throw on them, but this is the feeling lots of people have. And this, I only have a little bit of alpha on, because again, Aftersound gave it out that he's actually played with the Rebellion cards. Mm-hmm. They let him, see them in action and see the stuff working. And he said, he's seen it and it works. But when they can't put out land, and then they're asking you to buy cards for a new set with a new mechanic, people are going to start to doubt, because if you can't put out one piece of your product working, they're going to doubt that you could put out the next piece of the product working. And so I know from my own stream and from Aftersound's free stream, there are at least 10, probably like 10 to 15,000 packs that were going to get bought that aren't going to get bought now. I mean, I was going to buy myself up to like 800 to 900, depending on like a couple different things with selling some other NFTs. And then I was gonna get my hands on a couple more thousand DEC, and I was gonna do all of these different things. And then I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna put my hands in my pockets, and I'm gonna wait until land is out, because when we're at the prices we're at, the opportunity cost in just waiting of extra resources I'd have to give. It's kind of minimal, because DEC's up at like 94, unless it's fell since I last checked. So that's only at worst a 6%, gain that it can really get. Yeah. And the only thing that you're missing at buying, the only thing that you don't get is those promo cards if you don't buy the pre-sale.
Yeah.
But I've got 600 packs. That's 6 of the legendaries. That's at least a level 3 legendary card of it. And so I'll roll the dice with having to buy 5 more manually off the market if it comes out, and if it's, truly a meta card.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know what the other cards are in the set. We don't know how meta that card's going to be.
Yeah.
It's really high mana and stuff like that. So a lot of people are backing away. They're like, you know what? You fooled me once. Shame on you, but now you fooled me. But now you fooled me twice. So that's shame on you. So no more.
Yeah.
My wallet's closed. You can't have any more of my money.
Hmm.
I'm like an example, I have every single Rift Watcher legendary at max level. I did my claim today, and unfortunately, we got our minimum for our big group, but still, I had five and that I got, and normally I just buy them off of the group and max mine out. Nope, I sold them today. I
Yeah.
didn't buy it, so I don't have it maxed out of the new one because I'm like, nope, I'm not giving you guys any more of my money until land is out. You're
Hmm.
just not going to get a dime of me really investing into this ecosystem while you continually can't put out the most important product.
Hmm.
And it's like, I'm not like fire selling everything. I'm not like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. um, DEC's been holding, so I haven't been looking to move it into stables like I talked about on my show, but I am watching it because I'm worried it's going to take a big dip if they miss this again, and then I need to be in HBD instead so that I don't lose a whole bunch of value there.
Hmm.
Um, and it'll maybe let you get like a swing trade where you can turn 3 million DEC into like 3.5 million DEC if
Yeah.
you do that right. So, that's just kind of where they've put me, and I don't think it's an unfair place to be at this point because I've been a long time holder. I've been a long time person who just buys everything they put out, and now it's like, guys, you got to get this piece of the ecosystem working so that we can keep this train rolling, and we'll
Hmm.
see what happens. I thought we were a lock to sell out the pre-sale, and maybe there's still some fireworks that are going to happen in the leaderboard chase, but I don't think we are anymore.
Yeah. It doesn't. That doesn't help. Let's put it that way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What the? This is a quote unquote top battle. I want to check it. Oh, this is a tournament. I want to check in with the chat here. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you guys. Drop the like for me. Spread the word. Let the algorithm know. I saw a bunch of comments that were around this idea that I wanted to touch on. Paul said it's a pretty small team and they have no real way to effectively test everything. Even after it's released, people find bugs, but that happens with all software. That's true. I think we touched on it a little bit saying, sure, but it's like their game. They got to figure it out. They can't just rely on, the community to step in and do that testing. And then he also said it feels like Farp and Matt are not on the same page, similar to how Maggie and Farp were not on the same page. It sounded like the bug was fixed, but they didn't have enough time to test the fix. And then there was a really thoughtful and actually I think probably accurate response from Brandon here. Brandon said the issue with testing security with security of tokens and assets in an ecosystem is the 3 to 7 day delay in things like unstaking. Have to let the timer expire to confirm the code and fix, which makes perfect sense as you like imagine, if it was a card unstaking issue or if it was a SPS unstaking issue, you need to see how that, or I guess DEC unstaking because you were staking DEC into the land. So that's all. I think Brandon probably knows what he's talking about there. I think that's really thoughtful. Thank you for commenting on that, guys. Paul and Brandon, appreciate you. And Skyer here, another comment. As for the exploit, even crazy huge game companies release products with bugs and exploits. I see it as normal, but also see that the Web3 we are messing up with people's assets. That's the thing. This is different than if your Fortnite skin is glitching or causing crashes, or it's like there's hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in some people's accounts, and if that is somehow being targeted, made vulnerable through unstaking mechanics, or if there are exploits around how SPS can be extracted from land by parties who would recognize that, that becomes a pain to every other person who doesn't know the hack. And so like I can understand why they would hold it up, especially given the financial nature. I can even understand why they would be like, not like they want the 7 days or whatever, the 2 weeks to confirm the code is done. But man, it will be a huge failure if it isn't out in November, man. Like that's a gigantic deal. The timing of it with Rebellion was really important, and we've said it now. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but this is a big deal, bigger than anything that Splinterlands has ever launched before. And they said so in the live. They, like Matt said something like, Rebellion is not a big deal to us. Like, it's a huge new set. There's new mechanics and there's new abilities, and that's all really interesting and fun and challenging to code. But it's nothing compared to what Land is. So I get it, or at least I superficially understand the complexity of it. But the truth is that reality is constantly, and our patience for that reality is being worn away by like delay after delay after delay, and dates that just keep failing to come to fruition. Maybe we should move on to a different topic, Steve, but I think we're in the same place of, at least, I don't know if I'm ready to hold back on my money. I'm like currently still, I'm holding back right now from Rebellion because my XRP went down a good 15% after it pumped. So it looks like I'm going to miss the pre-sale in a major way because I'm not going to sell my tokens for these price points. But over the course of the year, my intention is still to get 1,000 to 2,000 packs of Rebellion. And I say that confidently without knowing what's even in there, because the summoner tactics, the new abilities, the new etc. It all sounds really, really meaningful. Can I ask you a question on Rebellion, Steve? Do you feel, from what you know already, that you are going to want those, but you're saying, I just need time to see Land launch? Or is this like a whole new reset where you're like, I don't even know what I know anymore. Let me see Land, and then we'll talk Rebellion. What is it? Do you see what I mean? Like, is it you need to see Land and then you'll decide about Rebellion, or you need to see Land and you already know you're in for Rebellion?
Yeah. So, there's two things that, like, at this point are pretty important for me before like I'll really take investing into Rebellion seriously. So I already have a max Chaos set and a max Riftwatcher set.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 605 Rebellion packs. I did tell a little, like, I'm not bringing new money in, but I am going to buy 5 more Rebellion packs in the next day or two just to get one more of those rare promo cards.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that I need Land to work before I'll be willing to invest in it, because the team made the decision a while ago to take away a big portion of the value of our cards when they decided to take away collection power requirements and go to staked SPS requirements. Yes, this was great for the SPS token, but it has proven to be detrimental to card value. Now, the promise to us was that Land would come out and we have these great multipliers for your old cards, because, I am sitting on alpha and beta cards, not like max sets, but a good amount of them. And I've had to watch their value basically just plummet over the last, 6 months or ever since that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm like, you guys have to get Land out before I'm going to invest in another set of cards, because like I'm pretty confident I could play the game with what I have and at least be competitive, earn chests. I don't know if it'll be diamond chests or if it'll be, where I'll end up if I don't have those cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be able to play. I could also always just go become a wild player for a little while. The rewards are bad, but I would be really competitive there.
Yeah.
Because I do have beta cards.
Yeah.
And I have a good mix of them, and then I have all the Untamed and all the Chaos Legion,
Mm-hmm.
so I can make some interesting teams in Wild. So they've put, so that's where I'm at when it comes to Rebellion. is that they need to have land coming out, or I don't plan on making serious investments into it. I also am slowing down on pack buying. I made a little mistake on my own video when I said I bought 20,000 packs. It was that I put over $20,000 into um, I got to like 6,000 packs in Chaos Legion that I ended up buying.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not going to come close to those kind of numbers because that definitely was a mistake. I could have gone much slower, still had a max chaos set, and kept like 15K in the bank. So um, there's just that's where I'm at. It just simply, it's like you got to get land out, you got to get it working. I got to see the alpha beta cards go back and up in value. I got to see the overall ecosystem start to go up in numbers, start to go up and to the right, and then I have a reason to want to be really competitive.
So you're pretty, like, that sounds like you're pretty shaken by this. Like, that's not like, I feel like there's two ways to look at it. Like you're either you're frustrated or you're shaken. And frustrated means like, this is a real annoyance. I'm super, I want them to hear how big a deal this is. But I'm not like, leaving or anything. I'm not going to hold back. And then there's like, I'm shaken. And that's more like, I'm not giving you another dollar really. And I know I heard you say you'll buy a few more packs, but I mean, truly, like I've heard you on your channel talk about how like you might spend, a couple thousand in certain situations. And that's just sounds like that's off the table right now. That's a pretty big deal. And I think the team, I think they know that. I think they hear you and others like you saying this. And I don't think this is falling on deaf ears. Yeah, but one way or another, man, they got to get this thing out. And you know what? I really sincerely hope and pray for them that it just is okay that it gets out then. It's not, they're not at the wire next week and being like, well, we have to do it. You know what? I don't think they would do that. Part of me is concerned that they will let the community goad them and pressure them into releasing when they're not ready. But I think Matt spoke clearly to that in the last town square. They're not going to do it unless it's ready. That's the right play, but man, it will hurt bad if it's in the short term, and that could be the medium term, because the short term is this really unique opportunity that I hope they grab at. So yeah. How are you doing this season? Are you up in champ this season?
I'm in Champ 2. That looks like where I'm gonna end. I stopped buying DEC for energy to get those pushes into Champ 1. So I've been finishing last season I did make it to Champ 1 naturally. I had a really good the last day out of 20 games, I think I won 18 of them with 2 really long streaks, and it just blew me up into Champ 1. But the season before that, I finished in Champ 2, and this season I'm going to finish in Champ 2. But it's really because I don't have a necessity to push anymore. I have basically my Soulbound set. It's like 3 cards that aren't maxed out at this point, 3 or 4. And a little funny story for Gathering that said he hopes I get some Kulus on my main account. My little alt account that's playing in gold and wild pulled 3 gold Kulu swim hunters the other day. Nice. So I'm like, oh, if I could only transfer those over, I'd at least have like a level 3, because it's getting to be quite frustrating. Like today I was playing, and for twice in a row, I had streaks broken by people that played a Kulu lineup. And I'm like, I can't play that lineup because I only have a level 1 of that card. It's just not competitive at level 1. Because I've only pulled it the one time. And people are doing this lineup where they put it behind Bakshira, and it's giving Bakshira 3 attack, and then adding it into this high mana. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so it's the wrong time for me to be pushing extra money into the game, because I mean spending resources and really pushing to get to Champ 1, because I don't need many of the rewards cards. I'm okay with the idea of just taking my time and not really pushing to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
And just playing the game, enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. The one great thing about modern is like I'm getting to play players I know. So I run into Bojangles, I run into Mondroid, I run into like these other really good players. I
Yeah.
beat them sometimes, and I know it frustrates them, and then sometimes I lose to them. But like the match equity up in in champion is just tough right
Mm-hmm.
now. You're playing far too many diamond players when you go down to play a session, and when you end up playing that many diamond players, they have maxed cards. You make a little mistake and you lose 35 points. You
Yeah.
beat them, you get 10.
Yeah.
Even with a bonus. So like I don't know how many times I go like 10, 10, 20,
Yeah.
minus 35,
Mm-hmm.
10, 10, 20, minus 35.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm winning 3 of 4 matches. I have a 75% win rate and I'm not going anywhere.
Look at this.
So until I think Matt knows that the elo needs to be changed, especially
Mm-hmm.
in wild, because the match liquidity is just not there.
Yeah.
And having these like like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it could work the right way, right? Like literally I could win 6 games in a row and the last 3 of them could be 70, 70, 70, but you have to get matched up luckily with 3 people that you can beat who are higher ranked than you.
Mm-hmm.
And like even right now I'm number 92 on the leaderboard.
Oh, wow.
So it's not, but I'm like in the middle of champion 2.
Yeah.
I actually was playing a little bit while we were talking.
Yeah.
My last couple of battles, I beat. I lost to Mango Juice. I beat Eli. I beat Mondroid. I beat Mary Jane. But I needed to not lose that game to Mango Juice because he's actually in Champion 1. That would have been a good win. And you want to see the silly thing about that loss too?
Yep.
Here, I'll send you the battle if
Okay.
you want to throw it up since you've been throwing battles up. This is the kind of battle that in my mind should just be a draw or just silly because it was completely RNG.
Okay, so you're on top. Okay. And you got
Yeah, I'm on top. So this match just came down to whose Dr. Blight would get poison.
yeah.
Because we both silenced each other down to 1 damage.
Yeah.
We have void. Nobody can hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So this entire match is who can get poison.
Mm-hmm.
And my Dr. Blight didn't get poison for like the first 4 rounds, and his got it twice, so he wins.
Yeah. Cripple is an interesting
and so,
contribution
like,
in these rules. That when this happens, you can't pick it right now, but the death summoner with the cripple actually helps in these moments.
Yeah, he wasn't available.
Yeah.
Here and that option can be played sometimes. It doesn't always beat this one.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I wasn't sure on is normally you want to play the Rift Watcher's legendary that has an archery attack.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't get very many silences with her at 32 with Immortalis.
Mm-hmm.
What I probably should have done is just got rid of Immortalis and put somebody in tried to put some people in the front. Like there was a better lineup out there.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those silly things where it's just like, I just like, it was like, am I ever going to get a poison with my blight?
Yeah.
And is he, like right there, see, didn't get it again. He gets it again.
Round.
And after this, I just I watched and I think I did like maybe one more attack and still didn't get the poison.
Yeah.
And was just like, oh, he's 2 poisons ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna catch up. And I just skipped and I lost the battle.
Yeah.
But I mean, like this is the match that I end up losing
Mm-hmm.
to break my winning streak, and it was my chance to make that jump up into Champion 1. And it's just it's like ugh.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I definitely get it. I'm fighting in my way in Diamond. I was fighting for leaderboard, and I was on the leaderboard like top 40 or whatever it was at 10,000 DEC. I had 38, 33 or something. I'll show it in a minute. But that was yesterday, and a day changes everything. I'm like below 3,700 now. And there are times where I'm fighting a guy who's like 3,500, rank points, and I'm 300, almost 300 rank points ahead of him. Like if I lose that, I'm in big trouble. So yeah, Matt knows that. Like you're saying, like it's not, the elo system is not optimized. It's a problem. But
Yeah, and the other thing is that the guys at the top don't play much. Like even without buying energy I bought a tiny bit one day, but it was more because I made like 5 stupid games. So I'm like, I'm buying 5 energy to make up for those stupid games I played.
yeah,
But I've played 430 battles this season. I've won 223, so I haven't had really a great season win-wise, but I am a positive, like 223 and like 207 or something. But like the guys at the top, Zaku played 150 games. EMP Warden played 160 games. Zavi played 153 games. X Dragon is the first one that's like kind of cool. He played 282. Then you got another 150. Those are your top 5. Those are the guys winning the biggest prizes. You do have a good one there, 391, instrumental, and then it gets kind of better, like 300s and high 200s. But when your top people are not even playing very many games, the system isn't working right because it's not forcing people to play, and then it's making it even harder for the people below because you can't get matched up against these people.
Yeah.
Like a perfect example, a guy in 17th place right now, he played 61 games. He won 46 of 61 games, and he's sitting at 17th.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, well, what's the point of that? Is there somebody else at 27th who's really bad too, or no?
I was just going to say, and this is Diamond.
Oh, Tog.
This is Diamond, and 38, 31 is like what I had a couple days ago. And this is 27th on the Diamond leaderboard. And I had that score. I could have just sat. When I read here, I'll show it in a second if I can. I wonder if I can. My battle log. Let's see. No, it's too far. It's more than 20 matches ago for me. But like you say, some people they get to a place and they just sit there. I bet if I looked at those leaderboard, many of these leaderboard participants, they haven't fought like as many as me. Like as you say, this guy right here, 160 matches. No, hang on. Yeah, he's fought 90 battles. 90.
And see, that's what's ridiculous about our leaderboard system. And I'm glad that at least Clay is going to change it and they're going to stop winning DEC for doing this.
Yeah. 100,000 DEC going to a person who plays, I mean, okay.
60 games.
So he plays 5 games a day, probably. And I mean, maybe, I don't know if I should say that that's bad. But at the same time, it's not the incentive you want. You want them playing.
You have to have them playing because for Elo systems to work, the best players need to be on the board for us to beat to go up.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so hard to catch up to them. Like the last day of the season is ridiculous because most of the time you're going to be playing people lower than you if you're in a tier 1 or if you're trying to climb. Like I played out of my last 10 matches, I played somebody higher than me twice. And most of the time I played people who were dramatically lower than me too, like 200 to 300 points lower than me. And so it's just, it's not ideal, and Matt knows it's not ideal, and it's not working the way they want. It's not forcing the best players to play more. And for that reason, he did say they were planning to change it. So I like hearing that, and we'll just see if that's what ends up happening or not. We can't know for sure, but I think like the thing is, I don't know when. I can't know when it's going to happen.
Look at this. Look at this comment. I must be sleepy. One? I thought Steve had grown a huge black beard. Then I look closer and I see him. It's leaning towards his professional mic. Just like
it's. Yeah. Do I look good with a huge beard? No, it's just the mic, dude.
Yeah. That's funny.
That was funny though.
I only have a couple of Yeah, it's so that makes me, so this is the first time I fought for leaderboard in months and months and months, maybe years. Um, at one point, I was on the leaderboard for the Diamond League, and then I tried one time, I got it, and then I never tried again. This is me trying for really a second real time, and it's not going to happen unless I go on like a 30 game win streak. But as your point earlier, no, these guys aren't playing anymore. They know what's up. You know, Sibit played 90 games this season, 88 for Angst Gagner, 74 for Matt Dubb, 92 for, like, these guys, they win early and then they just sit on it. And to truth is, if I had done that, I'm pretty sure I had 38, 33. So I would have been right in here in that 10,000 DC. Maybe I could have squeaked into 20,000, and then I could have fought in wild, because that's the other thing too. Like, you can obtain and then go over to wild and like mess around, and you don't really care, as long as you're staying in the. What happens if you're in diamond? You can be champ in wild and diamond in modern, right? Yes.
Yeah, so you could have a situation where some of these people are playing in both leagues, and going down to the other league, and if that's what they're doing, it's a little bit better, but it's still not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
You'd want these people really competing all season and playing all season and active, at least up until like the last day. And you want people, like, the game is designed for you to play at least 20 matches per day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's how much energy you can recycle a day. In a day is like 24 actually.
Yep.
So if you're not playing 24 to 25 like 20 to 25 matches a day,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not using your energy. So that means like the game isn't even getting you to do that. And when you see guys who in a total season that was 14 days play less than 100 games, when if you played 25 per day, you'd be at 250. Or no, you'd be higher than that. You'd be like 300 and something battles. It's just, that means that like the elo system and the leaderboard system is incentivizing them to play less.
Yep.
It's not and so if you went into a straight, like Matt, what Matt's talked about is like a straight like plus 20 minus 20. So you'd always just be playing to get 20. Like he's like, I'm not sure if that would work or not. But if you were playing that way, if those guys shut down and stopped playing, you would have a chance to just catch them, just if you just won your matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you were just winning a large percentage of your matches, you would pass those guys up.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to hide, and you wouldn't have to ever, like, it was always going to be plus 20 minus 20. No more minus, and maybe there would still be a bonus or something. They'd have to work that out, because that might not be enough points without
you could just do attrition like
30,
across a
60s
season,
and 70s, but
you could do like fatigue or like attrition across a season. You know how at the end of the season you reset a little. Like, what if every day your RP was just slipping by like one RP an hour or something? Or something. I don't know. You'd have to think it through, but there is conceivably a number where there'd be a little bit of a bleed happening, and you have to almost maintain. There was 3 ideas that came in the chat that I want to chat on around changing leaderboard rewards. Somebody's, and they talked about this in the recent town square, which is worth checking in about. They talked about how, come on, miss me. This is huge. Come on. Oh, huge miss. The chain golem can't keep up with it. This card, by the way, Titania Blade, I just got a level 3, is so juicy. But Matt said they want to rework how the elo works. They're going to do it. I believe they'll do it. That'll be amazing. They also said they want to look at the, no, not Matt, but Clayboyne said he wants to put forward a proposal around changing the leaderboard rewards to be non-DEC and to be pack based. But I see here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Steve, but just 3 ideas from the chat first. Gathering said, where is it here? Gathering said, give leaderboard packs instead. of DC. And Rift Summoner said, what about Gladiators? And even Bolts said maybe Soulbound cards of some nature, Soulbound rewards. I think clearly there's an appetite to rethink this. I heard that there is quote unquote like tension or animosity or whatever around this idea. Do you have thoughts on this, and do you have a concern
Yeah.
about one or another way?
I've been a long standing that the DEC has to leave the leaderboards. And that's the one thing I'm 100% on board with Clay doing. We have to take them off. I don't care about the people who are like, but I win that $100 and it helps me. Yeah, it hurts our entire ecosystem that you win that every week, every 2 weeks, and you just dump it on us.
Mm.
And the other thing is because, maybe if the ELO system was redone and I felt like the people who are winning those top prizes deserved it, I would be a little bit more like, it's cool. But when I see the top 5 guys not even play 100 games and basically they just kind of like timed when the best time to play was and won at like a 90% clip, which it's hard to imagine how they did that. To be honest, this game has an aspect of RNG, and to see people winning at that high of a percentage is already kind of suspect.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it's impossible. If you're, also they could be spreadsheet players, which is kind of like using a battle helper, but like a legal one. Mm-hmm. So if that's who they are, then okay, they did that work. They made their spreadsheets. They get to win at an 80%, rate because of that. But, they're incentivized to do those kind of things, which is kind of like cheapening the whole experience because they're getting a monetary reward for being at the top of the leaderboard. Just because we're a Web3 game doesn't mean we have to have monetary rewards for being at the top of the leaderboard. Mm-hmm. At least not direct monetary rewards that hurt our own flywheel economy. My idea for a long time has just been additional season-ending chests. That way, you do have a chance to pull things that do have monetary value. Mm-hmm. You have a chance to open up a giant SPS chest.
Yeah.
And then you can have that SPS. You have a chance to open up, gold legendary cards and stuff. I just have never done anything to figure out the actual number. Ideally, what I was thinking is something, if you just kind of looked at, they get 100,000 DECs, turn them into 100,000 champion chests. I mean, not 100,000, 100 champion chests. So it'd almost be like doubling a good player's season rewards if you're on the top.
Yeah.
But, that way, a lot of what they're getting is soulbound cards. A lot of what they're getting is merits and potions and those other things that they can't just dump straight into the market. And then the other thing they're getting is the SPS token. I'd have to see some numbers to see if that's too much. And if basically then you're saying that 1,000 DEC equates over into a chest is the quick math I did. So the guys who are getting 100,000 get 100 chests. The guys who are getting, I think, what does it go down to from that?
I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but
60.
Okay.
So it goes down to 60,000. So they'd get 60 chests extra. And then the people on the bottom, then there's a group that get 40,000. They get 40 extra chests. And then the people who get 20,000 get 20 extra chests. And then because you're not giving away DEC and you're just giving away chests, maybe you could even do another range of people who get like 10 extra chests on the leaderboard. And now the leaderboard could go to like 75. You could give 10 chests to 50 to 75. So you just, if you're on that leaderboard, you just get, you go to claim your season chest, and instead of getting 85, 90, 60, whatever it is that you earn when you play the game, you just stack 20, you get a stack on top of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, it's a decent compromise because there are things in those chests that you can pull that are worth things. Now that was with the mindset that packs were going to stay in chest. That's another discussion that's going on right now. If packs are completely taken out of chest, then I would adjust my idea to maybe a new type of rewards chest. Maybe a reward, like a chest that can't get potions. So you're guaranteed that your 5 items are either going to be merits, cards, or packs. And then those chests would be really special to earn, because you'd be the only person in the game that could pull a chest out of a pack. Or pull a pack out of a chest, I mean. Something like that. But it feels like that's the way it should go. I mean, that's our normal reward for playing the game. And that's been my idea for a while. That's what I voted for in Clay's little poll that he did in Discord. Yep. One of the options was just, give them more season chests, and so that's what I voted for. Yep. I haven't been following up with that closely though to see where it's at. So I wonder what is the chat throwing out what they think about that?
The chat right now is not, but they but I heard from, I forget where I heard this, but there was just like I think Clayboy said it in the town square. He said like there were 300 comments on it or something like that. A huge amount of comments, because they all have their opinions about what will be best and what will be broken and what would, that would ruin the game. And you know what I mean? I see Gathering mentioned that he wishes this is like a different conversation, but he just said, I do wish that there was a way to get more merits. They were talking about gladiators and guilds and how much reward they get out of it, which is an interesting conversation, but nothing specifically around the chest or the rewards. I'd be open to pretty well anything. I think I agree that DEC probably needs to get out of there. I don't see any real value in carrying that forward. It's, as much as there is not a huge, like if you look at how much DEC is made from it, it's not long-term with what the flywheel could do. It's not a big deal.
I disagree. It never ends though.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that it's not too much.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is look at the DEC chart, and until recently, every end of season, it spiked up.
Mm-hmm.
And it spiked up pretty dramatically. And it's not as little as people think. I mean, it's thousands of dollars every 2 weeks, multiple thousands of dollars that is just sucked directly out of the ecosystem. Nobody has to buy it. I mean, you see every one of those little tick ups, that's an end of a season.
Yeah.
Every time it set you back, your goal of DEC disappearing. It set you back. This
is a clear trend though, right? Like over 60 days, like this is not the deal breaker. The deal breaker in DEC creation is just like recently SPS. But
but that's not a deal breaker. You want SPS to get burned.
Yeah, but hang on a second. Hang on. Wait. No, hang on, because you're definitely. I don't think you're giving like a fair point to the yes, of course we want our SPS to burn, but there's a huge problem with what could happen. And I think maybe you and I spoke about this a while back, but man, as great as the flywheel is for what it could do for our game and for SPS prices and what that would do to attract new investors and all that benefit, if the flywheel works like it should, and SPS pumps in that process, this anomaly will not be an anomaly. It'll be the norm. And I think we'll have a really problematic thing with creating way too much DEC. And I think we're going to have to pay the piper in the next bear market. So I think it's going to be a really fun ride in the next bull, which I think is beginning now. But man, do you agree, Steve, that you're right. This is the beginning of a flywheel. This is the SPS being burned because people want their DEC and it was at peg, and that's great. But man, when SPS is worth 10 cents, it's going to make more DEC than it does today. When it's at $1, it's going to make more DEC than it does today. And it's really easy to imagine the game growing, the liquidity pool returns growing, the 50 liquidity pools launching, people being desperate to get DEC, buying SPS to burn it, SPS flying up, people getting drawn into the game, speculating on SPS, all of that leading to flywheel, flywheel, flywheel. But then at the end of the day, not 4.5 billion DEC, maybe 100 billion DEC or something, because we've burnt so much SPS chasing after SPS DEC gains and SPS gains in the liquidity pools, because remember, those LPs are paying SPS. So if SPS is surging, they're chasing after LPs. I know you know that. You're the one who kind of opened my eyes to that. But I see two things. I see this trend is the leaderboard is not the deal breaker. But I do agree we should probably get rid of it. But man, this is concerning to me, because we get to a place where this is a problem again at some point. Like we can restock the shelves in a bad way, right?
I have less concern than you when it comes to this.
Okay.
And the main reason why is like, what's that number on the far left there? I can't see it on your screen that well, but it's 4 billion,
4.68,
right?
like 4.7.
Yeah. So we're in the fours. So like land fully utilized uses what again?
7.5.
So 7.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
And that's just to stake your cards.
That's right.
Then you have the buildings that are going to come onto land, and the DEC requirements that they're going to have for you to level those buildings. That'll probably will probably be similar to the way we burn DEC to level up our guilds. Then you have liquidity pools. I don't think it's that hard to imagine that between 50 liquidity pools, you need about 25 billion DEC, 500 million in each.
500 million. How much is that? How much money is that? 500 million. Is that five?
It's 500,000, right?
Okay. Divided by.
Take away.
Yeah, 500,000. Yeah. So
yeah,
that'd be like that'd be like $1 million per LP, right?
Yeah, that'd be like $1 million per liquidity pool. Now maybe that's a little high, but cut it in half again if you want to go to $500,000 in each liquidity pool. Over time, that's just what I feel like we would get to if things went really spicy here.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's just places where you're gonna get, massive amounts of DEC that just sits there. And now we also have this new pack mechanic where the DEC goes into the DAO and they're just kind of holding it. And I don't see any vote that's ever going to do anything with that DEC. Yeah. But there's places for DEC to go. And then if the flywheel is working right, a responsible community won't really dump DEC because it's what's going to make SPS go so wild.
If the flywheel's going right, a responsible community won't dump DEC. You mean the DAO? Like we won't dump the DAO DEC? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like the DAO won't do it, but even like somebody who's exiting the game, it'll be like the last thing they go to sell. Because and nobody will want to go out, because like picture a world where there's $1 SPS and go look at the last couple battles you won and picture each one of those being, instead of what are you winning, 4 or 5 SPS, and you're winning $4 or $5 per match, and the guys who have like the great winning streaks, they're winning like 10, 12, 15 SPS per battle. They're winning $10, $15 per battle. They're going to want to keep that going. They're going to want SPS to keep going up. And so, the people, it takes a lot when it starts to go for people to decide like, oh, I'm gonna dump it away. And as long as the game introduces proper burn mechanics, we should be relatively okay. So we're gonna have to burn DEC to unlock our soulbound cards. We're probably gonna have to burn DEC to upgrade our buildings. We're gonna have to burn DEC to what do you call it? Okay, wait.
It's time crystals, grain. Yeah.
Yeah, for time crystals, for grain, and then we're also going to have to mint DEC to provide liquidity.
Yes.
For all of those different things. And then how much DEC are we going to have to burn? The other thing I was going to say, when we mint a card.
Yeah.
So there's going to be DEC burns and all of that stuff if they do this right. And I don't think Matt's going to do it wrong. I think that he knows that, the product backed stable coin, you have to keep a product on the shelf.
Yeah.
That you can buy with it, but also you have to have sync after sync after sync after sync. And they've done a pretty good job. I mean, you already have to burn DEC for Power Stones. Yeah. You have to burn DECs to level up your buildings. Given they made it a little bit nicer for new players, that burn gives you a token that you can move around with you from guild to guild.
Yes.
I don't know if they should have done that, but they did it.
Yeah.
But that's still the DEC that's used to get that guild power. It never comes back. So the burns are there, and they're going to keep coming in land, and land's going to have like infinite different ways that they could burn DEC. Like, when they introduce boss fights, what if to battle the boss you got to burn 10,000 DEC?
Yeah.
As long as the rewards are decent or some good thing within land, they can always find things that you're going to have to do. And with every release of land, with every new set, they can make you have to upgrade your buildings higher. And add on a new building, add on a new piece of a building.
Yeah.
It's similar to the way the guilds, just they kept adding new buildings into it.
I think to circle back a little, I'm in agreement. Like the leaderboard, there's other great ways to reward those people, and I think it's just simply a proposal, and we make it happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen one way or another, because I do think there's an appetite for changing that. It's a small minority of people who want that DEC. Of course, it's the winners. They want the DEC. I get it, but I'm with you. But I think, to my point, I mean, this is a downward trend, and yes, there's DEC creation at the end of every season, but it's so inconsequential that we continue a downward trend. But Flywheel, or the beginning of Flywheel, just transforms this thing into a parabolic upward move. So I think like these blips are not even noticeable as we begin to see the Flywheel doing what the Flywheel is going to do. And I think you make a good argument for why we don't need to be too worried about that, because they will be thoughtful about creating burn mechanisms, and they already have sinks and burn mechanisms for that. But to me, that's the way bigger issue. If we're worried about DEC, if we're worried about, because we don't want to just touch peg, we want to go to peg and stay there. And the path to that is going to be sustained pressure for demand for DEC. The only path to sustain pressure for DEC is if SPS is pumping, or I would say pumping, because it's the ongoing growth of SPS price that draws in newer and newer and newer investors chasing after LP rewards as well as game rewards, all of which necessitate DEC, which means buy SPS to burn SPS to create DEC to participate. And that's even more exacerbation to SPS price. So this should be, I think this will be like a parabolic thing that happens, and it will be super fun to watch and be a part of. But the planning and the thoughtfulness about the team and how they create use for all of that, because it won't be like we're not talking like we've got 4.7 right now billion, and then this process that I'm describing will create another 5 billion, and that'll be a big deal. No, I honestly think this could get, like, if you just think about you need 1,000, you need $1 worth of SPS to create 1,000 DEC. Okay, right now $1 worth of SPS is a lot of SPS. It's like, what is it? Maybe 70, probably 75 or something like that. Maybe 65 SPS. But if SPS gets to $1, which I absolutely think is on the table, one SPS creates 1,000 new DEC. And that's the path to having like 100 million DEC. And then maybe you're right, or and all the liquidity pools create sync for that, but those are temporary liquidity, or sorry, temporary sinks that can be extracted if the SPS price starts tanking, or if the peg starts breaking, because people only want it while they're chasing huge appreciation, because the liquidity pools are going to go crazy in terms of how much they pay out while SPS is pumping and pumping. But if SPS stagnates, or if SPS falls, those LP returns drop, and then the risk and the concern around holding that DEC, it just gets larger and larger. The risk versus reward gets, let's say, more risky. I sound like I'm making a bear argument. I just really think this is absolutely this will be the biggest talking point, I think, in the following bear market. But we can see it now if we're really paying attention. So that means for me, practically, that there's a path to enjoying the next bull market, setting targets for myself, and actually liquidating some stuff so that I don't want to be holding all my DEC bag at the top. I want to be, if I have a major DEC bag, because I'm trying to enjoy LPs, I need to take some profits and like put some of that into USDT or USDC or US dollars, because I want to be ready as the next parabolic move is happening. I want to be thoughtful about it on every level: my card collection, my land collection, my DC and my SPS, because I want profits. I don't want to see the next bull market come and go. I guess that's where it all comes from for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. And me and you are both players. I was a paper millionaire in Splinterlands.
Yeah,
right.
I was fun to watch. I saw that one.
And not a real millionaire anymore. So, yeah, we're going to want to take profit. We're going to want to sell things. But at the same time, I don't think DEC is going to be as much of a problem as you think if we actually get a full working land ecosystem and a spell and equipment ecosystem. It's a big if, but it's because, like I said, there's just so much burning of DEC that can go into the creation of all of these different cards and spells and equipment. If they're done how I think they've alluded to doing them, they're going to be just like cards, where you're going to need 400 copies of a common spell to get it to max level. So people are going to have to mint 400 of those. And just like the rewards cards, spells and items they're since they're real cards, and they can reach a point of it no longer being worth burning stuff to make because it has no value. If it gets overprinted, they're going to get cycled out. So there's always going to be new spells and equipment to make. Just True. Like there's always new soulbound cards to bring into the game, or new rewards cards to bring into the game. It's going to be the same kind of thing. So there's always going to be a land ecosystem where people need to stake liquidity to earn the resource that comes from staking liquidity, so that they can make the cards to sell the cards to other players to make the money. And the other players will want to buy the spells because in that world, SPS is worth so much money that playing the game and winning in the game is making you a tremendous amount of money. So
sounds good
that's
to me.
where it's just such a big circular system. It has to be managed right. Things have to be timed right.
Yes.
And it all has to work. And they do have to keep their finger on the pulse, but as long as there's burn mechanisms for DEC on land that is having people burn lots of DEC to make land work and to make spells and items, then people are burning SPS to make DEC so that you can burn the DEC to make the cards to sell to people. And then that ecosystem just burns all of our tokens away. And that drives the value of one of the tokens up. And it like it can get to like if we just keep playing the game, it could get ridiculously stupid. You're talking $100 SPS. you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, as stupid as that sounds, it's like if none of us stop, if people just keep playing,
Yep.
if we just keep burning it and keep burning it, and there keeps being less and less of it in out there in the world,
Hmm.
um, then the token has to go up in value because of the laws of supply and demand.
Yeah.
But you know, that would assume that Splinterlands lasts probably like another 4 or 5 years with multiple more sets and like just multiple sets of spells and
Yeah.
stuff.
Which is not like, I don't see any reason that that's not possible. Like, you know, it's not guaranteed. Nothing by that. Looking that far in the future and like looking at the global financial situation, looking at the literal concerns around, you know, World War III, I would say that there is reason to have doubts about the next, about Splinterlands being here in 5 years, 10 years. But if you just stop and say, okay, yes, I'm concerned about those things. Those global factors are global factors, but the game is fun. It has a very legitimate following. It absolutely has thoughtful tokenomics that could blow up in a crazy way, and that would attract, as you pointed out in previous videos, you know, a different class of participant, which is more of the investor chasing after the liquidity pool side, the DeFi side. Man, yeah, absolutely. And then, yeah, that the path to burning, because SPS is finite. Yes, we're still printing it. Yes, there's, you know, a lot of tokens. But if the burn mechanics are there, that you could reduce the supply in a crazy way, not like a superficial way, a crazy way. And so, and then, you know, even just I saw a video recently by Aftersound talking about the you know, how we would compete with the other major gaming tokens. And his point was kind of, you know, we look at some of the other major tokens, and the gaming tokens are like 50 million, 100 million, $500 million are invested in that token today. And it's like, what we're like a 20 million. I think the SPS token is like a 20 million market cap. I'm not certain on that. I could pull it up here, but let's see. Market cap 1.6 million. Is that for real?
No, yeah, our market cap is pathetic. That's why I said, like, you have to remember we're only a 3 billion token. We're not even fully distributed, and we've had something like 15 million of it burned.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the market cap can get kind of crazy, but you need you need land there.
Yes, you do.
To make it all work, because then the current player base starts to burn SPS and we start to push it up, and then liquidity pools get spicy, game rewards get spicy, new set is out, the players come to play the game, because like, you know, you to get that like first wave of players back into the game, that you just probably need to be winning, have a chance to win like $5 to $10 a day, because if you can do that US playing this game, that'll bring over, you know, that player base who that is a substantial amount of money to. And then they're going to have to buy SPS and stake it to be able to earn it, or they're going to have to rent it or get it somehow. And that's just, you know, how we start to turn stuff around here. And it's an interesting thing, because we're like this little tiny game with a few thousand players, somewhere probably between 10 to 30,000. I don't know exactly where that number is, but you know, that's what I feel like we are. We're this really small group, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we really get the flywheel to go, because flywheels can do pretty amazing things, but you do have to get them going. And so that's the challenge here, because the system that we have in place to make this work, it's not there yet. It's not working, and it's in my opinion pretty grossly late. Some people might disagree with that fact, but that's just what I believe. And so I'm gonna just hope that I'm just gonna hope they can get it out and they can get it right, because it's like one of those things where I think me and you have both seen this. Matt has designed something that is the best flywheel I've seen, as long as you have a loyal player base of people who want to play the game. But if you if you don't make the technology work behind it, we can't get there in time, because there's a limited amount of money that we're going to be willing to put into the game without seeing things start to turn around. And you've already seen this frustration level hit with a lot of players. We've lost major voices into this game. One of them used to come on your show all the time. One of them used to be on Aftersound's show all the time. There's other ones who are talking to Aftersound and pretty much saying that they're walking away at this point, and he's not even outing those players yet. You've got people who were pillars of our community who have left because they just couldn't wait anymore. And it's a dangerous time to not get the flywheel mechanics going, because Matt's admitted this. We all know we are not going to compete with people within the Web3 ecosystem with our gameplay. We're an auto battler game with a relatively simple game loop, with a really exciting economy. And yes, for people that like games, this is all really exciting and really cool. But other than for the people that really, really like these type of games, you need a really vibrant economy in the background if you really want to see things, get to that next level. And it's important that we work through that. And that is my reason why I just don't want to see those DEC rewards given out. I mean, I did the math on it again just to double check, and it's like 200 million. Is that right? No, I got to remove the zeros, but it's like $200,000 a year that they give out to people, and I guess that's kind of cool, and it's a substantial amount of money given out to those people. But, that is a decent amount of DEC that's just put out into the ecosystem as a reward. So,
we should check the chat here. And I want to say, guys, I see 19 people in the chat. Appreciate you hanging out tonight. This is an odd time for me to go live. Steve, I appreciate you coming and hang tonight. Guys, drop a like. I appreciate it. And also, it's just one of the ways that you can support the channel with no cost at all. And I wanted to. I've seen a lot of different amazing conversation in the chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. Let's grab some of the comments here. I'm sure the landslide leaderboard rewards would change.
Yeah, we asked some of the questions. I saw Gathering answered the Land 2.0 white paper probably won't be shown to us until 1.5 is out.
Yes.
Matt says it's pretty much done, and he has an amazing flow chart he wants to show us for how interconnected this system's going to be. And I want to see that thing as much as anyone else. He actually told us on our show when we interviewed him that he had that thing, but that Nate wanted to make it look pretty. But also he wasn't going to talk about what's to come until they deliver what we're waiting for. So
yeah, and they did say in the last town hall or town square or whatever on Monday that he feels like the draft is ready. It'll be out like soon, but none of it's like Land 1.5 right now is the only thing that matters, and he's not going to get that out, until after 1.5. Can we just make a proposal eliminate DC in the board? Yes. Looks like the majority vote. Let's see. Looks like the majority vote by landslide is that the leaderboard rewards be changed into rebellion packs. That would be really cool. Rebellion packs would be that is what I think Clayboyne mentioned in the town. I think that's the main idea. And people are excited for Rebellion. Like Rebellion will be theoretically more scarce than some of the previous sets. Therefore, it should retain its value. It should be a relatively liquid asset that they can, if they want liquid money, they should be able to get it. I think that could be an interesting compromise. Probably new people or people who fight in those leaderboard. I'm not certain I want to go back to champion. To me is like it's a slog. Like I get the champ too. It's a slog to get in there, and diamond is like a lot more I mean, it's the same cards, but it just feels like, well, I can actually vie. I can be like one of the tops I'm top 60, top 70 or something like that. And I think next season I could do better. Um, yeah, but if they put in rebellion packs, I'm going to want to fight even more. I think I need to maybe if I'm fighting for leaderboard, I think maybe I need to fight early in the first beginning of the season and just claw as high as I can get, and then just move into wild and have some fun. Maybe. Anyways.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems like until they change the elo system, that's the way to get a payout on the board. You know, since I can still make it to champion ones sometimes manually playing the game, I'm still gonna fight for it for now. When the new set comes out, if I haven't, if I can't anymore, then I'll probably figure out what's going on. Like, there was part of me that was thinking about just becoming a land player of the game. And not play the game competitively anymore, because it does take up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And there are some funner games out there. I play. I've been playing Big Time. Gala is starting to release some of their games, and I have some of their NFTs. I've been, like, I still play Stella Fantasy a decent amount, even though they kind of blew up their Web3 part of their game. I don't know what it is with those BSC games that come out that are fun and then blow up their economy.
My friend was just this today asking me for recommendations on other crypto games that I might point him to, and I honestly gave him. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, check out Illuvium. I know that they're doing that. I know nothing about anything except for Splinterlands, Splinter Forge, and Golem Overlord. And maybe
yeah,
Woo.
yeah. Like, I don't want to just be within the Hive ecosystem. Yeah. So, and then the fun thing about Big Time is you don't have to spend any money to play it. You do have to get an invite code, I think, at this point. But it's like, you have to like those type of games. It's like an MMO fantasy game similar to World of Warcraft. And then you can play it, and the stuff that you can find to, like, sell to people is cosmetic. So it's not game equipment. So the NFT stuff is all cosmetic stuff. So it's kind of like a game where you just play, you find these cosmetic items, and you can sell them to people, but it doesn't give them any advantage in the game. So like, anybody can just come and play the game, but you can also find the Big Time token when you play it. I haven't found one yet, but I did find an hourglass that would allow me to, it's an item that you can use that increases your percentage chance to get Big Time tokens. Yep. But then once you use your hourglass, you can't use it again unless you pay to refill it with an in-game currency. So it's an interesting economy. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's a fun game. Illuvium's expensive. Yeah. So I guess if somebody's looking to get into something where they have to spend some money right now and see if they can get into it, that would be interesting. I'm not into Illuvium. But I like the Gala games are funny. They're not really fun, but I already own the NFTs, so I really want to at least give them a shot. The Walking Dead one's pretty fun, though. I've been playing that because they have the playtest going on for that one. Yeah. And then, on the poker stream, Tails told us all to go play the Poker Go game because you could earn a free item for Walking Dead, and it ended up being the Carl NFT. So now I have a hero NFT, and I actually didn't have one of those. I had a land and a cooking station. Yeah. But I didn't have a hero yet. And then I was like, oh, cool, they gave me a free hero. So now I have a hero too. Nice. So it'll be interesting. I still have a decent amount of Mirandus NFTs. I got hacked and they stole like my best ones. Oh. They stole my home, they stole my horse, they stole my tavern. So I don't think I'm going to play the game anymore, but I want it to come out. So maybe my like other NFTs that I have in the game, because I still own like an armor stand, a weapon stand, a little mini stable, and like, I don't know, 10 or 12 other NFTs. But until the game comes out, they're not worth anything. So maybe I'll be able to liquidate them. So I'm paying attention to that ecosystem. Their coin's been pumping, which has been interesting to see. because they, you know, just and they get coin pumps off of playtest of games. It's really weird, but you know, it's just it's an interesting time to be in Web3 because a lot of stuff is starting to come out that are like good high quality games. So I'll have to see what I decide to do in the future. If the land part of this is really profitable and really good, then I could see eventually just liquidating or just renting out all of my cards that are modern cards and just play, you know, just run my land. So
I'm going to show something here that I haven't shown yet. I was going to do a video, but maybe I'll just briefly talk on it because we're talking other games. Let me pull up. Let me draw up the info here. Go Discord. So on Discord, this is my like art sales from Golem Overlord. And October 20th is when I started doing this. So we're like coming up on a month. And I didn't include the final total here, but this is like not a month. And I've got $57.40 worth of US dollar value sales from just part that I'm not like, it's like I'm still upgrading my Golem Overlord account with some of my resources. But I'm also just taking some ice cream money, and I'm enjoying. I'm putting it into Hive right now because I am. Is that right? Boom. And I hate these things that only once. Boom. There you go. So they now have like a system where you get comp, which is like it's soulbound, and it's like money that can upgrade your buildings, but you can't sell it or trade it. So I use that every time. Oh crud! Oh man, I'm getting farmed over here. I gotta quickly do my battles. So like every 12 hours, I log in and I do my battles, and I'm probably just like pretty medium, middle of the row, but I can like effectively claim usually 1700 ish. From each claim, and then I get some comp, I get some of the liquid money, and I'm taking about $2 or $3 a day kind of thing from this game that a lot of people don't think is worth their time. And I'm like, okay, that's fine by me. But I put in $100, I think, in this game, like however many months ago, and I've been playing it every day, just trying to upgrade my account. And it's working for me. Do you touch this at all?
I've been playing it since it came out, but I never put money into it other than what it took to sign up. And then I sold all my part to get back that 20 Hive. And so I've just been free rolling it. So I'm only Prestige 3. I'm pretty weak here with like only base 21 power, 21 fortification.
Okay.
And 20. I'm all 21 faith. I have a 7 charging station, and I just haven't been keeping up with it. I actually have been like make some videos and explain it to me. Because I need somebody to explain the new, because they added a bunch of new stuff. There's a quest, and like it's funny. I have a quest to use a potion, and they gave me a potion, but I have no idea where the potion is. So I don't know how to use it.
So there's I'll quickly show you right now. So I just did my battles, and I just claimed, let's see how much I get. I had 1503, so it's gonna update in a moment here. And there was another, I just got 1400 golem part, and that part is liquid asset, 1400 that I could sell right now, and that'd probably be I don't know how much, maybe a hive or one or two hive. And then comp, I just got another 470 comp. So this comp alone allows me to like sustain my scavenger golems to a place where I can repeat that every 12 hours. And then I can take my full liquid part, and I spent $100 to get to this place. Plus every day I've been playing it. So to be fair, it's not just $100. It's like I say with Splinterlands, there's time and attention. It's like it's not just money, it's money and time, or it's money, a lot of money, or it's a lot of time, or it's money and time, but you don't get away with one of those options. And so yeah, I'm at Prestige 9. I pushed pretty hard, but I put in $100 when part was a lot more expensive. So I didn't get a ton of part, but I just reinvested, and only this week, like I said, October 20th, have I started taking profit. But I'm now at $57, and I'm easily, like, next month I'll reclaim all my outlays, and I'll probably just, I don't know, maybe I'll just keep going at this pace of, like, just keep extracting $2 a day. It's like a buck 26, 267, 214, 287. Like, it's just roughly $2 a day is what I'm getting. But yeah, you were asking about the potions or whatever. There's these little indicators above your wallet or whatever this is called. And there's this first one, which is your battles, like go to war with somebody. There's a second one called inventory. And when you click on that, it brings up your backgrounds, your advisor. These are different cards, NFT cards that you can use to attribute and, like, increase and improve how you collect. But you just go to inventory, like I said, and scroll down. And these are all the NFTs that you own. These are NFTs that I've owned, that I've earned through buying some of their season passes that they've started. Because one of the cool things about Golem Overlord is they've started a season pass, unlike Splinterlands, and they're giving out, you might say these are probably just AI generated, I bet. These are not hand drawn. But I mean, they're cool enough. They're thematically appropriate. They're on brand for what Golem Overlord is aiming at. And they provide these buffs for your game. And then, so your NPC probably gave you one of these, and you have to go into here and you just click on it and then you go use.
Oh yeah, I see it now. So yeah. now I can use this power potion.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that'll be all you have to do. And then you go up to the top of the screen and you hit close to go back to the main window. But yeah, that's it. And there is a lot going on, and there's even more and more and more always happening, because they're tweaking the math around how calculations are drawn. They're tweaking how battles have worked. You know, when you look at the battle screen, it used to say you have 100% chance of beating so-and-so. Often now it says like 60 to 80% or 80 to 100. It very rarely says 100. And there's lots of tweaks because it's just still so new. But for me, and like, it's alpha. I'm on board with something like this. I will continue to plug away at this thing in the background. It's not a big deal. I take 5 minutes a day and I do it. Like I used to with Splinterlands. Like I used to remember, Steve, we used to go in and you'd log in and you'd play 5 battles and that was it to claim your daily. And you know, they got me in some sense with, like, this is cool and I'm enjoying it. And they've kind of, Splinterlands they've moved the needle on how much I need to commit time-wise and money-wise. And I'm okay with that because they started off like just a little bit. Just give me a little bit. And I've enjoyed the journey along the way. And for me, Golem Overlord is a little bit of the same, where it's like, I put in a little bit and I'm enjoying the journey along the way. And they've got lower elements, and they've got, like I said, these are like season passes. Essentially, you can pay 2,500 of the shards to access this, and if you get it, you essentially have daily claims that will be these NFTs that give you these in-game bonuses. Anyways, I'm enjoying it, and it's still early days for that, and for the ones I'm interested in big time. I've heard you talk about it, and I want to know more about it. It's still relatively new. Is it too late to try and get started on something like that?
It's in the preseason. It hasn't even been fully released. I got into it because Bulldog had the ability to invite people, and he gave me one of his invites. I don't know if he still has more, but you could reach out to him. So they're still in preseason phase. Not everyone can play the game. The one, like, knock on it right now, if there is one, is just that you don't have what do you call it? It's what am I doing? Sorry. The party system isn't great.
Yeah.
And like I don't play it as much as everybody else. So like I logged in and play it today, and I'm level 15. I got almost to level 17, but I played by myself because the only people around me were like level 30, and I couldn't find anybody. And then like the way the game plays is like you spawn in the city, and then you have to run out into the wilderness, and then there's these portals, and you find the portals, and if they're the right level, you warp into them.
Mm,
But the problem with that is like if I just sit in town waiting for people to join the game that might want to party up with me,
yeah.
I'm doing nothing. If I go out into the wilderness, when you hit party, you only see the people around you. There's nobody near me. So I can't make a group.
Yeah.
Luckily, I made the class that can heal.
Yeah.
So I can solo things. Like I was soloing dungeons that were for level 13 to 16 or 17, and I was level 15, and I was able to solo the dungeons and finish them. Most people probably can't do that unless you're the healing class. So it creates like a necessary thing where it's like you need to have people run you through the game, or you have to, I don't have a group to play with.
Interesting.
Which I guess is one of those problems with that kind of game. You kind of need a like a guild and a group and a set time to like meet and play.
Yeah.
I played games like that in the past, but like, I'm a little older now. I don't have that group of friends that are playing it yet. And that's kind of like why I didn't get into Golem, is just because like I didn't get into a guild. I didn't invest a lot of money. I didn't see a lot of people making content about it. So I started to not fully understand all of it. And so I just didn't decide to invest in it. And also because like I kind of had seen these Hive games come out and their tokens normally go straight down. And this one did kind of end up going straight down eventually. But, it's interesting now that he's doing a lot. It's a time where I could look to put like, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 Hive into the game, because it would probably grow my account quite a bit when it comes to my numbers. Because everything I have is so small compared to what I see on your account. So,
yeah, it didn't take much, and now with part being where it's at, like there's room to buy cheap part and upgrade some of your stuff and really see the multipliers happen. But if I did, it would be possible to calculate. There are spreadsheets online telling you how much part you need to build the levels of your building to the levels that I've got, and what that data would be able to reveal to you would be the exact dollar value that would be necessary to get you to where I'm at, to be producing essentially $2 a day. And I imagine it's a huge number, but I don't know that. It's actually, I should do a video on this like this week, like crunch the numbers and just come back and be like, look, this is what it would cost to produce $2 a day. I'm enjoying it. Maybe maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's not. I saw in the chat that Gathering wants to do a Golem Overload video tomorrow. He also said that he is moving his team to be more active, attack focused, and he only attacks when it's 100% chance to win. I used to do that too, but the 100% chance to win people are usually the ones that you are like stomping on, and that means they don't have really big stashes. If you fight the guys that are 60 to 80%, it means they're like almost out of your weight class, and if you do beat them, you get the chance of like a really big win, part return, and going for an attack focused build in Golem Overlord is practical. It works. He says you don't have to worry about your stash getting stolen. That's true. But then that worked for me so far and then I was like, oh, but now I've been so rich from that product, from that success, I need to now put some of that into increasing my productivity, because at some point upgrading your power gets expensive. So now I want to go upgrade my scavenge golems, so I get passive part, but then I become a target, so then I need defense. So the game is quite thoughtful, actually. It gets a lot of slack. I've heard even Tails quite critical of it. but there's a lot of thoughtfulness about like, okay, look, I want to be aggressive, but then I also do then need to worry about my defense, and then simultaneously I want to be able to farm the part, so I need golems. Then there's wear and tear on these things, and then there's, hey, look, there's these and the what are they called, season passes that are going to grab my attention and spark burning of the tokens in a major way. Anyways, I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking for more. I just sent a Discord to Bulldog and asked him about Big Time. So who knows? Maybe I'll be trying that soon too. But I think
Yeah, it'd be cool. I do need to start wrapping up because it's getting pretty late, and
Ditto.
I gotta get heading to bed.
Ditto.
I am interested gathering, so I'll try to touch base about joining a guild because it might make me more interested. I do know this like new quest system that they just added is interesting because like I'm doing the quest and it's like teaching me about things that like somebody like me who was just coming in, I just would come in the morning, I would do my battles, do a claim, come in the evening, do my battles, do my claims, and I would usually just do them on my phone. And then I would just rebuild my scavenger golems and then eventually upgrade my stats. But I wasn't putting any extra effort into the game because I wasn't sure, what to do. And I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
But like I noticed like, oh, season passes came out. I'm like, I don't want to spend any money. So I just didn't do it. But it's also because, like I said, I don't have a guild. I'm playing solo. There's, I'm not seeing like, is there even a Hive community behind this game? If we did Golem Overload videos and I posted them to Hive, would people upvote them? And is there that kind of stuff going on? Because I haven't even looked into if there's that like kind of community behind this yet. You should
talk to our TNA representative from Golem Overload, Hugh Puck. I'll send him your thing and you guys can see, but I think we have 4 or 5 spots on time and attention Golem Overlord. And there's benefits and bonuses and whatnot. Plus, we should talk more about that another time. You're right though. It is getting late. And Steve, just thank you so much for hanging out tonight. This was the last minute. Steve just was like, yeah, I could come hang out. And are you a California guy? I forget.
Yeah, California, so it's like only like 11:30ish coming up on, but that's about like as late as I can stay up. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, and but before we go, just thank you everybody to the chat gathering. Richard, I see you there. Who else? Tilly Tots. Paul was here for a while. Bolt's Rift Summoner was here for a long while. There was a good crowd here tonight, guys. Appreciate that a lot, especially for the odd time. The wife was out tonight enjoying a concert, so it just made sense. But yeah, guys, have an amazing day. And if you want more Splinterlands content, check out the members section on my YouTube channel. You'll see lots of live content that belongs only to the members. And check out Steve's channel for sure. Stever82, right, bud?
Yep, it's Stever82 on YouTube. Also, you can find me Stever82 on Hive and on Twitter. If I am Stever82 as well. I have been posting videos to Twitter too. It's kind of interesting because you get a lot of people to at least see it, but not necessarily watch it. Because I'll sometimes see some of those tweets, like get 800 views, 900 views, but then you go look and you're like, oh well, no one really watched it, but at least they saw it.
Yeah, that matters.
They saw the thumbnail, so. Yep.
Okay, pal. Thank you so much.
Thanks, and it was fun, and I'm willing to do this every once in a while. If late nights are easier for me because on the West Coast, a lot of people do stuff during the day where it's just like I can't do that. I'm working. So.
Yeah, and I'll have to come by and hang out on a Monday night sometime soon too.
Yeah, for sure. If if there's a Monday you want to do that, just let me know, and I'll be able to tell Baby Omega that you're coming to the show, and we'll just chat. Maybe I don't know when you'd want to do it, but just let me.
I have to look at my schedule, but we'll sort it out.
Okay,
pal. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Steve. Have an amazing night, guys. God bless.